We have breaking news, everybody. Germaine Johnson has been medically cleared from his torn Achilles. Breaking news from this morning. We're going to talk about it and all the latest from Jets training camp. Let's go.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Zooey mama.
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your freaking podcast. I'm speaking at a million miles a minute like I normally do, but specifically because we have breaking news this morning. Jermaine Johnson just announced that he's been fully medically cleared from his torn Achilles. We're going to react to all of it. We got a special guest, and I will throw this up on the big screen. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. We'll also talk about the latest in Jets training camp. This screenshot is from Jermaine Johnson's Twitter. This is breaking news. This just came in before the show, and I had to switch everything around so we talk about this to kick it off. This is from Jermaine Johnson. Quote, just landed back from LA after checking in with my surgeon and my team out there, and I'm cleared, y'all. After I was told that these past 10, 11 months flashed in my head, and man, it was tough. But through God's grace and guidance, I prevailed against all physical, mental, and emotional hurdles. God is so great, man. So great. Jermaine Johnson has been fully medically cleared from his doctors from the torn Achilles. We have a full article an article developing, in the YouTube description down below, and we'll provide more as that information becomes available. And with that being said, let's bring in our special guest, Jets historian, author, and so much more, Bob Lederer, here on a Friday with some breaking news to kick off the show. What's up, Bob?
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great.
Hey, how is your son? That's the first thing I wanted to find out.
Well, let's do that. I will take off Jermaine Johnson for a second and show you guys that I have been dealing with this thing with my son that a lot of people don't know what it is or what it's about. Well, there's a big medical update for him, too. I guess him and Jermaine Johnson must be going to the same doctor because we just got another great update. And it is this. I'm about to show you a picture of my son. And this thing that's on his head, he's going to have to wear for the foreseeable future. Here it is. This is my son, a handsome boy. This is PE3, Paul Andrew Reston III. And it's to help with his head development and things of that nature. So this is a helmet he'll be wearing for a significant piece of his life moving forward here to help him with some of his problems. And he's a happy boy, and that's the best thing. So I want to thank you, Bob, and everyone. I've received a lot of texts, calls, messages from all kinds of social media wishing me well in this medical endeavor with my son. So I really appreciate it.
I think I see a few whiskers.
I think so. I think the beard is coming in nicely, which is great. Yeah. I mean, that's runs in the family.
That's great news. And
yes.
I think I mentioned to you off the air several weeks ago. It's unfortunately not that uncommon with young boys these days, but
yeah,
the success rate is through the roof. So
yes,
that's good news.
And that's what all the doctors have told me, so that makes me feel great because you always, when your kids come out, you're like, fully healthy. Okay, hopefully everything's great to go, and sometimes things naturally come up. So, again, thank you, everyone, for saying that. PE3 is a monster. He's looking like Magneto over here with his superpowers, and he's a happy, happy boy.
Just keep
that's
the hands
for sure.
down so he can't force us to do things we don't want.
That's true. Yeah, that's going to be part of it coming up here. And we'll talk more about that later, so I appreciate that, guys. We'll bring that up more later. But, Bob, this breaking news that Jermaine Johnson's been medically cleared. Now, I want to make this clear because we'll also hear from AG in just a second, who spoke yesterday, so before this news came out. Currently, Jermaine Johnson, okay, for those counting at home and may not understand part of this process, is Jermaine Johnson, before training camp was placed on the active/physically unable to perform PUP list. What does that mean? That means that Germaine, this entire training camp so far, has been permitted to attend meetings, use the team facilities, but with this designation, he has not been allowed to practice. But the good news is that he can be activated at any point once they are cleared. Now, Germaine has been cleared from his side, his doctor that performed the surgery, which I believe is Dr. Neil Elatrosh out there in California. The Jets will then have to decide when their team medically clears him. And it sounds like, again, we'll hear from AG. I guess we'll just hear from AG right now. We keep talking about it. Here it is. Here's Aaron Glenn yesterday talking about their plan for Jermaine Johnson.
With Jermaine Johnson, obviously he's on PUP, but what's his training camp going to look like in terms of like when he could get back on the field?
Listen, we want to bring him in at the right time, and we don't want to rush that player in, and we have a plan for him. And that's something that between me, Zuff, Mooj, and himself that we'll continue to talk about. Listen, I told him it's not about week 1. It's not about week 2. It's about the longevity of his career. And we want to make sure that we do a good job and make sure we do that with him. And I tell it to every player, that's coming back from an injury. We have a plan for him. We want to make sure we follow protocol to make sure that plan works.
Are you still optimistic that he would be available for week 1?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But the thing is, we're going to put the work in and make sure he's going to be right to go play.
Yeah, and there you go from AG. He's saying he is still confident that Jermaine will be ready for week 1. And obviously this news makes you feel even better about it. Bob, what's your first plus reaction to this breaking news from Jermaine that he's been medically cleared from his torn Achilles last year?
Well, two things. Number one, what a 26-hour difference from yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, my God. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aaron nailed it. In fact, I was going to say it if he didn't, and that is he hasn't been able to work out and keep himself in the best possible running shape for the last since he injured himself. So don't rush him back because he's got to get into physical shape and to really be ready. And I don't think he can do that in 3 or 4 weeks. It's probably going to take a couple of months, and so I think they'll spot him on the field rather than have him playing on almost every down. But it's, obviously it's great news. And now he's going to say, and now about that contract.
And again, for Jermaine, and I see the memberships coming in. We'll deal with those in just a second. So thank you so much. But no, that's the thing for me is there's a lot of factors at play here. And I don't know if conflict of interest is the right word, but Aaron Glenn said he always likes to look out for the player's long-term future. Jermaine Johnson isn't thinking about his long-term future. He's thinking about now. He is eligible to be paid now. That doesn't mean he has to be, but he's eligible. He's under contract for this season and next season. Jermaine wants to show as quickly as possible that he's back and he's this dominant beast, and then maybe he joins Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson as these guys that are getting long-term big money deals. So Jermaine's trying to come back as quickly as possible. I hope the Jets do right by him and don't rush him back. But here's my fear, Bob. If you look at the Jets offseason, actions speak louder than words. What the Jets have done at defensive end tell me they fully believe that Jermaine Johnson's coming back raring ready to go ASAP because they didn't make a significant addition at defensive end. If they had, I'd feel a little better about them taking their time with Jermaine. Oh, they clearly have this other guy, and they don't. Will McDonald's on one side, he's a starter. But the last time I checked, there's 2 starting defensive ends on a team. And, looks like Jermaine, unless people are fans of Michael Clemens out there in the universe, that's what I'm saying. It just seems like while Aaron is saying all the right things publicly at the presser, the roster that is put forth here says they are more likely than not going to rush Jermaine back because they have massive expectations for him, obviously.
Well, I think you just said 2 things that are contradictory, and that is you said you think they're going to bring him back ASAP. Yeah. And then you said Aaron said they're going to take their time. And I don't think, you could be right about ASAP, but ASAP may be out here rather than here. Really recovering from that kind of an injury and all the athletic and strength and everything that he has to display and use once games start is not something that's going to come immediately. I mean, think about yourself. Although, I'm 73 and you're 26?
32, yeah.
But recovering from any kind of an injury as you get older, and he's a youngster, so it'll be easier for him. But still, he plays the kind of position that requires strength and flexibility and strength, and I'm sure, and most of it is coming from your legs and your ankles and your feet and everything. So it's, I mean, I think it's great news because nobody wants to see Michael Clemens out there on first, second, and third down. But you know, again, we have to be realistic about the season, and that is, hey, yeah, we want them to win every game. But the reality is this coaching staff and the general manager, you know, realize this is a rebuilding year. And they want to see big improvement, not just in the record, but mostly on an individual basis from guys that haven't shown it yet. And as I mentioned last week, there are so many guys on this roster who are young. I mean, they had 3 defensive linemen last year that they signed as undrafted free agents. And it's my hope that one of them is going to really come through and become a factor this year because none of them did anything more than take up space last year.
Yeah, that is Braden McGregor, Eric Watson, Leonard Taylor III. The other one who had any production whatsoever, and it was marginal, was Leonard Taylor III. Braden McGregor and Eric Watts did nothing production-wise. So yeah, it'll be interesting because first off, it's hard for undrafted free agents to make the NFL in general, let alone 3 on the same team. I mean, that's sort of wild that happened.
Well, it showed you what they thought of the kids, but it also showed you how weak, you know, their depth really was with
apparently
veteran presence. And they've added a couple of veterans, you know,
they have
this year. So
yeah. All right. People are celebrating this breaking Germaine Johnson news. If you're just joining us,
I know you're probably going to talk about, you know, Fields at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm a little concerned about what we're reading because read between the lines.
Okay.
He'll be okay for the opening game of the season.
Yeah.
What does that mean? To me, that means probably no preseason. And yeah, he may be able to practice a lot, maybe practice a lot, you know, in training camp and such, but he's not going to get his timing down. He's not going to get the full effect of playing against a real defense. And he's going to go into the regular season. If I heard what I think I heard, which is he's day to day, but he'll be ready to go in the regular season. That injury, I sent you a link yesterday.
I saw that. Yep.
Yeah. To what excuse the expression, artificial intelligence has to say about recovering from a simple toe injury.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1, and I can read it through, but I'm not going to, it says it's very painful. Number 2, you limp a lot. And number 3, you have to give it time. And even for a young guy, it's not going to be day to day. Although I would guess, and I think you'll agree, that if he needs to actually play, they'll shoot up the toe to numb it.
Of course. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But, you know, I don't think you want to do that on a regular basis for medical reasons. So, you know, I'm concerned because he obviously needs all the practice time with his new line and with his new running backs and with his new wide receivers and the system itself, getting on the field and looking over the defense. So this is a little bit more serious, you know, than they're making it out to be, I think. Serious in the sense of his readiness to play.
Yeah, and we'll break all that down in just a second. Again, people are celebrating the positive Jermaine Johnson news with a bunch of memberships, baby.
Well, that's great.
Boy Green Coffee Club memberships purchased by G-Man. There you now have 5 raffle tickets for a Jets Cowboys giveaway. I'm going to ring all the bells here, and then I'll read all the new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Ed Vargas coming in. I also see we've got some Joshua Langley action here. Let me make sure I don't miss you, Joshua. Ah, there it is for another Boy Green Coffee Club membership.
He's in junior membership.
Yeah, that's very nice. We gotta work on that.
What is that, Paul?
Yes, it's terrific. And every time we get 5 memberships or more, well, we got to play a couple of video packages here.
I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Unbelievable.
Kevin James. I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
All right, here are all the new members of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to all you guys. First off, these are the 20 from G-Man, the Prophet for Jets football coming up here on the program. Dennis Garcia, Mute Vials, Dave from New Brunswick's back, G-Money, Will M, Orlando G, NYJ, King Blaze, Dre Day, the Jets fan, Skip Donahue, Tony Del Filippo, JM2, Goose McGee, Andrew Kemp, Jet Life, MJ Wilson, Alex, Kaz, Randy Martinez, Luppy, Jetpack 615. You guys got those 20 memberships from G-Man the Prophet for Jets football. Here are the 5 from Ed Vargas, baby. Suleiman Ba, Christopher Phillips, Dan the Jets fan 21, Rock Benz 205, Matt Lamontague, and Joshua Langley. You gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership to Daniel Yanez. And folks, when you spend $20 on the channel, you're eligible for our Jets Cowboys giveaway. That's 2 tickets, 2 tailgate tickets, and a Jets Cowboys t-shirt as well. We'll get back to Jermaine Johnson in a little bit, but I do want to get into what you just talked about, Bob, because it's our first time speaking with you, obviously, since the Justin Fields news yesterday. Here is always my thought. I didn't think healthy Justin Fields was going to play in the preseason because he's clearly the QB1. Tyler Taylor's clearly QB2, and with the joint practice coming up with the Giants, that's sort of what some teams believe is their preseasons now with their live bullets, and you can show all the plays because there's cameras, but they're not recording the plays in the same way that a preseason game would, and you have an audience to entertain.
And
so I didn't think it was going to happen, and I didn't think it was going to happen initially anyway. And now with this injury, I definitely don't think it's going to happen. Seeing Justin Fields in the preseason here, Bob.
Yeah, no, I stand by what I said before.
Okay.
And they're going to be extra cautious now because, they want to give that toe all the time to heal.
Right.
So that hopefully they don't have to shoot it up, or maybe if they do only once or twice, excuse me, instead of, day after day after day when he's going to need to practice once the games, really mean something.
The thing I feared initially, so at first, of course, we're all fearing the worst and that he could be out for this crazy amount of time, like the whole year. And then once we learned that that's not the case, my next concern was everything that you've said, Bob, is that, okay, he's going to be ready for week 1 by all accounts. Terrific. But how much time is he going to miss? Because the training camp reps are important. The chemistry reps with his teammates are important. Learning a new offense is important. For folks who don't know, this is Justin Fields' 3rd offensive coordinator in a row that is different. This is his 4th of 5 years in the league that he's had a different offensive coordinator. So information is coming in and out of this guy's head like nobody's business the last couple of years. And that, to me, is the fear. The thing that makes me feel a little better, Bob, is that it is, quote, day-to-day. Day-to-day says to me that he could be back in like a week.
Well, he's not going to be back in a week.
Okay. Do you think something's being misreported here? Because why say day-to-day? I saw the link you sent, and I agree, and I started to immediately text with doctor people I know saying, what's going on here? Football injury? What do you guys say? But when I saw day-to-day, I'm like, whoa, that's not week to week. That's not whatever it is.
I think they'll be able, as I said, they'll be able to shoot it up and let him get some practice time.
Okay.
But, I was watching, excuse the expression, Boomer and Phil Simms this morning.
Sure.
And Phil Simms made a great point about training camp.
Okay.
He said, if your quarterback doesn't have a decent number of interceptions in training camp, then training camp's a waste because he has to test his arm. He has to test how well he can hit his receivers on the run. He has to take chances. He has to see what can those receivers do, on various types of patterns. And so he said he doesn't pay any attention to interceptions, except that he looks to see that they're happening. You've got to stretch your imagination as a quarterback. And that's especially true here, because as you just outlined, he has to get practice time with these guys. And even though he's very familiar with Garrett, and he's very familiar with his old center, and he's very familiar with his old tight end, still, he has to have the playing time in order to really get in coordination. And he's going to have a new set of receivers, and he's got 3 new running backs, all of whom are going to be counted on to catch the ball as well as run the ball. So practice time is going to be important. As we've talked about the last 3-4 weeks, I don't have the highest expectations for him, but we'll see. He had a rough couple of practice. He had a rough practice. I guess they said now that he had run 5 plays before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But they said he badly overthrew one receiver, and the other's whatever, a couple of a drop, whatever. So, as you've said several times, and I've backed you up, like the running back blocking for my quarterback.
I appreciate that.
It's only training camp, it's preseason, and nothing's going to mean anything at all until the bell rings. So we'll see.
Yeah, that is true. Again, it will be fascinating to see. Hopefully, he doesn't miss a lot of time. If he does, that could just be not detrimental, maybe too aggressive a word, but it could sabotage the beginning of his season to be rusty and not have that. Again, there's only so many games.
Sabotage his career if he gets seriously
hurt. Well, that too,
while he's
obviously.
Already hurt.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
So they have to be careful. It seems like, and I guess I'll throw this one over to you, Bob. So yesterday, Aaron Glenn spoke immediately after practice. And he said that he believes in Tyrod Taylor. He said, Justin Fields, it sounds like he's going to be fine, but I believe in Tyrod Taylor. So if we have to go to Tyrod, no problem. I don't think we're going to skip a beat. Do you think that's coach speak, or do you think he actually believes it?
No, I think Tyrod Taylor is a professional quarterback. He's probably, if he's not the best second stringer in the NFL, he's close to it.
I would agree.
But the problem is, I believe in Tyrod Taylor for about 2.5 games.
How long do you need him? That's perhaps a better question.
Until he gets hurt, and the last 2 times I think I saw that he got hurt, he was scrambling.
That's true. And they were against the Jets. Michael Clemens got him in a preseason game, and then he also got a rib shot in an actual regular season game against the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, if he could stay healthy, he would have been a starting quarterback somewhere for the last several years. Because the guy knows how to play. He's a professional. He knows. He can be greatly beneficial to Fields because he can probably impart a lot of insights and a lot of information and help him on the sidelines, when the defense is on the field, helping him figure out what they need to do to break through, when they get back on the field. So, I mean, he's terrific, but they better get another quarterback.
Yeah,
because Fields is if there's anything iffy about Fields, and they have to use Taylor, and Taylor gets hurt, then what are you going to do?
It's a good question. I would say this is another sign that while everything that you've read medically and the people I've texted medically and telling us about this toe injury, the good news is first off, it's not the big toe, so that's good. It's not off the plant leg, it's off the push-off leg, so I hear that's better. And then apparently it's a second toe from the right. I don't know what the name of that toe is. I only know the finger.
It's called the second toe from the right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So apparently those are all positive signs. But here's the other thing, Bob, is that apparently the Jets have no immediate plans to add another quarterback, which is either crazy or, again, Justin Fields come back to the field sooner than we think. Because
you agree with me about the need maybe for one more quarterback. It doesn't have to be the greatest quarterback of all time, but it needs to be somebody who can learn the system quickly, come in and, in an emergency, at least be professional.
I do. Okay, so here it is. If Justin Fields is missing any significant time, like 2 weeks or something, 2 weeks plus, if he's missing anything beyond that, I think you have to add a quarterback because then you only have 3. It's Tyrod Taylor, old man. He's 35, will turn 36 in like 2 weeks. So happy early birthday, Tyrod. And then you have 2 young pups. You have Brady Cook, who's an undrafted free agent in Missouri. And apparently he has looked awful so far. So hopefully that can turn around. And then Adrian Martinez, a former UFL MVP of a lower football league. That's the room. So
Maney said he looked really good in 7-on-7s yesterday.
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
So in the 7-on-7 league, I think we've got it cornered.
That's good to know. It's good to start somewhere for all of us, which I appreciate. The other news story, we can bounce between everything. We'll open up the phone lines and everything else. But again, the breaking news, if you're just joining us, we have 300 people in the room, which Jermaine Johnson made this update on social media. We have an article in the YouTube description down below that he landed back from LA after checking in with the surgeon. He's been medically cleared by his doctor, which I believe is Dr. Neil Elytra. So he still has to be cleared by the Jets. He's still on their PUP list. He still can't practice right now until the Jets let him off the leash, and we will see what's going to happen. AG, I believe, is supposed to speak this morning around 10 or 11 o'clock, so we'll keep you guys posted whenever he speaks and see if we get an update.
And you can be sure that Jermaine Johnson is not going to be day-to-day.
Yeah, I would hope not. I would hope not. They're coming up. I guess, aren't we all day to day? I could get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Not me. If I get hit today, it's going to be a week.
Okay.
If I trip over a piece of concrete, it's going to be a week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that I'm very much looking forward to that coming up in my life. That should be terrific. And yes, everybody, yes, like the video and hit subscribe. Show your support. The show we were going to start with here, Bob, is not Jermaine Johnson. As a matter of fact, it was an interesting nugget yesterday from the Aaron Glenn press conference. It was when he was talking about Elijah Vera-Tucker. Apparently, another big money deal could be on the horizon. Let's go to Coach at the podium.
Yep.
Who you think are going to be foundational pieces. Can Vera-Tucker be a foundational piece for you guys? The former first-round draft pick had some injuries, but played the whole year last year.
Man, he's a great player, and hopefully at some point we can start to talk and try to get something done. But absolutely he is. I mean, he's one of those guards that can do a lot as far as run off the ball, as far as pass protect. He's a big, strong man that has been like critical for how we want to play offensive football. So. But absolutely, he's one of those guys.
Wow. So that sort of surprised me. If you missed some of the Q&A there, I'm sorry, the Jets need to be better with their mic situation. What happened is a media member asked, Coach Aaron Glenn about Elijah Vera-Tucker, like, could that be, you guys are handing out extensions left to right, could he be next? And Aaron Glenn called him a great player and said, hey, man, if we can line it up, I'd like to pay him. Let me make sure I read the direct quote so I don't misspeak and paraphrase in a poor way here. Let me make sure I have this here on the AVT thing. I'll get the full quote here in just a second from my Twitter account.
In the meantime, I will say whatever contract he gets, it has to have a clause that says he will not play in Denver.
Yes, please. Can we work that in? Yes, here's the quote from AG. Sorry about that, folks. It's quote, hopefully at some point we could start to talk and try to get something done, indicating like, whoa, maybe there's more deals to be done here. If so, is that something you would champion? Do you want to pay AVT? He's played 4 years in the league. 2 of them, the middle 2, are season-ending injuries. The other 2, he's played in 15 games and 16 games, respectively, but he's never played a full season.
He's a terrific player. I mean, obviously, he's really he's a veteran, the Jets veteran on that line, because he's been there, I think, longer than anybody else has been.
That's correct.
And he was the first real building block. That they put out there. I mean, remember, I think they traded up to get him.
They did, from 23 to 14th overall with the Minnesota Vikings.
And so, that was a really good move by Douglas. It worked out, really well for them. So yeah, he'll get paid.
But do you pay him if you're the Jets? He's half of his career has been injured, half of it has been healthy. It's sort of risky to pay that kind of money.
You also have to look at it as to what is it going to cost him later if they don't sign him now. I mean, they probably have a better negotiating position now because of the injuries than if they wait another year. And this is so. Where is he? You can update me. Where is he as far as the 5th year? Is that
so? He is in his 5th year right now. It's a $15.3 million fully guaranteed option. The Jets exercised this a couple years ago. You have to do it after their 3rd year, as they head into their 4th year. So you're making that decision ahead of time, sort of like just happened here with Sauce, Garrett, and Germaine. They had their 5th year options exercised in May after their 3rd years were complete.
Well, as I said before, I made a reference to it. They're not playing in Denver this year. So
thank God.
That we can make an assumption that he's going to be relatively healthy for the whole season. Look, he's not just, as Aaron Glenn talked about the day before yesterday, a good-looking, big physical specimen that looks like he should be a great player.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael Clemens.
There you go.
But he actually is those things, and he is a very good player. So
that helps.
I think you got to pay the piper. And look, they're such a young team. They have so many guys in camp that have to prove themselves that they're not paying big money out to. I mean, the whole running back, trio is like that. And I mean, Breece Hall's making a little bit of money, but the other 2 guys aren't making anything. So, and the same thing in the wide receivers. Once you get, away from Garrett, and tight ends, same thing. Even the rest of the offensive line, they're all still on their rookie contracts except for Simpson.
Right.
So, it's they're in a good situation now, and the NFL cap keeps going up and going up and going up. So I'd give him the money.
And I see Dave Briggett here saying, didn't Brees Hall tear his ACL versus Denver? He did, and was in Denver. It was week 7 of his rookie season. So Denver's been a hellhole for the New York Jets, quite frankly.
Seriously, I would seriously question playing him the next time they play in Denver. I really would, because, fool me once, fool me. You can't fool me again. Well, they got fooled the second time, but you should fool the third time. I would find a reason for him not to play in Denver the next time.
To be honest, I would just petition the NFL to never play in Denver ever again, if that's possible, especially with the AFC Championship game in the late 90s. You just said it. We just said the same thing, 100%. That's the part that gets me. Now, I also want to get to this before we get to the phone lines. We talked about this on the show yesterday, that people were overreacting to Brandon Stephens getting mossed by Garrett Wilson. And, oh, boy, what an idiot signing. Look at this doofus. And everyone was overreacting. I told everybody, calm down now. It's training camp. There's going to be highs and lows. And apparently they came within 48 hours, because on day 2 of training camp, apparently Brandon Stephens looked amazing in practice. So a shout out here to our guy, Rich Cimini, who shared this with about Brandon Stephens coming up here. One of the standouts was cornerback Brandon Stephens, who did a nice job in coverage on wide receiver Garrett Wilson. Afterward, he received lofty praise from head coach Aaron Glenn, who said, quote, "I'm excited about that player. Eyebrows were raised when he was signed, blah, 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 to start opposite of Sauce, and he still needs to sharpen his ball skills, but he looked pretty good in training camp." So see, after a shitty day, he apparently comes back with a great day. And again, I tell you guys, whether they're high or low, we're going to talk about here on the show because it's a daily show. But let's not overreact, people.
And the other thing is, you just hit the key words, ball skills. Nobody has critiqued him negatively on anything except when the ball's in the air and his ability to align with the receiver, and prevent a completion. He's great coming off the line. He does a really good job of staying with the receiver. But when the ball's in the air, he has trouble locating exactly where it is. Well, we're all relying on Aaron Glenn and his career and his expertise and his experience, and the fact that he was a defensive guru in Detroit. To take guys like that and just fix that one thing that maybe is fixable, because it's the only part of his game that seems to be, on the negative side. So, and as the great Paul Edson keeps saying, it's just preseason.
That's it.
In fact, it's just training camp.
Yeah, right. It's not even preseason. I mean, technically, I guess it is preseason. The prefix of pre is before, so it is before season. But
I am surprised if he comes to the microphone.
Sure.
If anybody is going to ask him, have you been working directly with Aaron on a couple of things because of his background and his expertise? I don't even think anyone's going to ask that, but sometimes the reporters don't ask the most obvious question.
That is sometimes true in my experience. I have witnessed a lot of that coming together, which, the media is the media, I guess. And sometimes that's going to lead to good things. And sometimes,
overall, they do a great job. You know what I really like about the media these days?
When
I was growing up,
you
read the same story in the Daily News, the New York Post, the New York Times, Newsday, and the Long Island Star Journal. Everybody had the same story every day. Well, now you have so many of these reporters, and they all want to find something that distinguishes them from what their peers are also getting. So it's actually interesting to go from media to media and reading what people, are saying beyond Jason, Fields got stepped on and had a dislocated toe yesterday, because there are other things going on.
That there is. Let me ask you real quick, Bob. Do you have a favorite reporter? Is there one that tickles your fancy?
I think Cimini has been there so long. He knows where all the cracks are. He knows where all the skeletons are. He knows Glenn. Glenn knows him. I find that a very interesting.
That's cool. Yeah.
Interrelationship there, because Aaron knows what's coming, and Cimini is trying to probably ask him stuff that he isn't prepared to answer. Not to be, a wise guy. But because he just understands, the jet, enterprise so well, and all the guys, and particularly guys who've been there for, before, and who had a very, long career that he probably got to know pretty well.
Yeah, that's Samini just was doing an interview recently, and he said, it just makes me feel incredibly old that he covered Aaron Glenn when he was the first-round pick in 1994, and then to have Aaron Glenn complete an entire playing career, retire, then become a scout, then be a coach for a bunch of years, then be the head coach of the Jets. He said that just
and
makes
I
me
like
feel
Samini also because he's really nice to me.
Hey, there you go. Rich has been really good to me too. So
yeah, I've had interactions with him. He's a gentleman, and he's very straightforward. You know, he's not BSing you or saying later or can't do it right now, whatever.
Right.
He just gives you whatever time he has, and he's very, very gracious with that.
We have a bunch of questions. We'll also have phone calls coming up. I see this one from Jets Worldwide, wide, saying, anybody watch the Will McDonald origin series for the New York Jets? And I absolutely did. And here's a clip from it from last night. This is the New York Jets original documentary series going behind the scenes, telling the origins of a lot of players on the New York Jets roster. Here's a fun clip from last night on Will McDonald.
I was talking to my coaches from, back home, and I remember Peterson saying, he's going to be a first-round draft pick. Just give him a couple years, he's going to be straight. I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
We went to Coach Campbell's house. He invited us over for the draft party. And, we're driving down there, and we're trying to figure out, like, when's he going to go? When's he going to go? We're there, and the draft starts. And, us being big football fans, we want to watch the draft. Well, Will wanted to play Connect Four against me because his teammates were telling me Will's the best Connect Four player of all time, yada, yada. Well, I played him, haven't played Connect Four in 10 years, and I beat him the first 2 games, and he was madder than I've ever seen him in my entire life. And, we're on pick 5 now of the NFL draft that night, and he's like, no, that's BS. I'm beating you.
Man, think about that. On that April 27th date on 2023, while Jet fans were debating, who should we take with the 15th overall pick? Just think that our eventual first-round pick was playing Connect Four with one of his high school coaches in a very competitive game that made him angrier than ever. So, wow, Will McDonald, what a story.
You have to give Douglas a lot of credit. He was masterful in first-round picks.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I don't know if Zach Wilson would crack that lineup, but
no, I wouldn't. Well, there's always a bump in the road somewhere.
Sure, and that just happened to be the most critical choice of all time, but that's okay. Joey, you did a lot of good things.
They're not quarterbacks.
That's right. But yes, you guys should absolutely see the series. One Jets Drive killed it. There's 3 more episodes, but they're going to be coming sprayed across days. I believe the next one is on Sunday with Olu Fashanu, and then more to come. I've seen the series. They're terrific. So you guys will really enjoy it. So thank you, Jets Worldwide, for bringing that up. I thoroughly enjoyed the series, and I'll be cutting up a couple of clips from the documentary that you guys can see on social media. I also agree with NC Green's comment coming in here, Bob. Garrett Wilson will make Brandon Stevens better. Is that a sort of iron sharpens iron? That people hate that cliche, but that should help Brandon Stevens a lot, I would think, competitively. We're just talking about competitive Connect Four. Well, competitive football, I think that makes everybody better too, Bob.
Yeah, well, look, everybody in front of you when you're playing cornerback or safety is what helps you be better at your job. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be blitzing a lot. So, that should help him too. In fact, he might actually be doing, some of the blitzing.
Sure.
Because we're being told it's going to be no holds barred. They're going after the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And as long as they don't give away the fact that the blitz is coming, it could be very effective.
I think you're right. A couple other comments here. Mr. Fulton says, morning, Paul, I'm going to be getting a call from Jeopardy for this season. I'll keep you updated as soon as possible. You Jeopardy guy, Bob?
I usually get 1 or 2 of the answers correct.
That's my bar too. When I do, I give it a little.
And my wife gets a couple right, so we're ahead of the game.
Okay, that's for sure. And I see Ed Vargas in here says, hey, Paul, my wife and I hope the little man is feeling better. We're going to go to the green and white practice. We hope to catch up with you. I'll keep you guys posted. I am hoping to be media credentialed for an upcoming practice. That process is being done behind the scenes right now by my superiors, and I will let you know if that goes through. I'd love to meet a Munchie at training camp, so I'll keep you guys posted if that does indeed come to fruition. All right, without further ado, all you crazy animals and Justin Fields and everything else you guys want to get into, we will open up the phone lines next right here on Boy Green Daily, and hopefully hear a few more things about your guys' reading of one of Bob's books. Half time out, more coming up.
Boy Green Daily. Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily. Boy Green Daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go.
Let's go, everybody. I'm Paul Leston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. This is Boy Green Daily. We got 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Again, for those who are just joining us, Jermaine Johnson has been medically cleared from his doctors. We'll see what Aaron Glenn has to say about that coming up at his media availability later today. And then the big one is Saturday. That is Back Together Weekend. It'll be broadcast with NFL Network and NFL Plus. The wonderful Brian Baldinger and Judy Batista will be the NFL Network representatives at Jets training camp, which I'm very much looking forward to. And again, PE3 and his Magneto helmet are doing great. Look at that guy. Look at that stoicness. I don't know where he got all these handsome looks. Oh, wait, I know. Me. Yeah, baby. Hell yeah. All right, anywho, let's get to the phone lines. Hep's here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. Hey, Bob. How you doing? Hey,
Hello,
fellas.
Pep. How are you?
Oh, great. I'm glad PE3 is doing. He's a cute little guy, man. I can't wait to meet him.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. He will be at the game, everybody. For anyone going to the Week 5 Jets-Cowboys game, you'll get to meet my son and Zariah Luna, for that matter. It's going to be awesome.
What's he going to have at the pregame barbecue?
Oh,
That's
my
a good
God.
question.
You don't know, Bob. You should come to this.
Oh, yeah, Bob. Yeah. When's the last time you were at a Jets game, Bob?
I have never been to a game at the new stadium.
Okay. Well, it's a perfect time. Put it on your note, Bob.
The only game I even went to at the previous stadium in New Jersey was a preseason game.
Okay, so look, Bob.
I used to go there all the time to the soccer games when the Cosmos.
Yeah, I
there you go.
Pay there.
Do you have a calendar by you, Bob? Check Sunday, October 5th, Jets Cowboys. See how that sits.
I will predict right now they're going to win that game.
All right, yeah.
The Jets?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Phenomenal.
I believe because they play really well against them in New Jersey.
They do play good. Yeah. So anyway, Bob, I finished the book. I say there's the last part. I have the part 3, the little section at the end. That's the part I'm saving. I'm waiting, but have most of the book read. Now, one of the parts of the book, I mean, there's so many parts of the book I can get into with you about this, but I want to talk about Buddy Ryan and how, because of protecting Joe Namath, the elaborate offensive blocking schemes, that got Buddy Ryan thinking, I have to find different ways to get to the quarterback.
Beat it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that eventually turned into the 4-6 defense. It's so amazing how these things are this connects to this, which connects to that, which connects to this. You know,
that and the fact that Walt Michaels wouldn't let him make any real changes to the defense.
Right. And Walt Michaels had, if we had drafted the people Walt Michaels wanted, we would have had 2 Hall of Fame offensive linemen on the squad.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the other insights in the book. What, you want to tell everybody what those were?
No. I'm not going to. I don't want to give anything away. But I'm curious about
Walt did push hard for a couple of offensive linemen that ended up on Oakland.
Yeah,
who became the strength of their defense for 15 years, offense for 15 years.
Hall of Famers. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to talk about also the brain injuries. I know you're
CTE. Yes.
Yeah, CTE. You're a player advocate. I could tell by the way you write. And I want to talk about O.J. Simpson and the greatness of his running, because people don't remember him as a running back anymore. They remember him as the murderer. And I'm curious.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, right. So I'm curious to know. I mean, talk a little bit about the greatness of his running, and of the other side. Do you think those hits he took? Do you think that led to that tragedy?
No.
No, you think he just did that on his own?
No, I think
allegedly.
Well, first of all, I mentioned this 2 weeks ago. I think Buffalo only won one game in 1968.
Yeah,
during the season, it was against the Jets. At the end of the season, they had the worst record in the NFL, and they drafted O.J. Simpson.
Right.
So without the Jets, if they'd won a couple more games, O.J. wouldn't have played in Buffalo. I don't know. I can't psychoanalyze O.J. Simpson. I think internally he was, really kind of an egomaniac, but he was so well loved outside for his personality and for his almost embarrassing, lack of ego outside. But inside, when you look at his personal life, it wasn't as calm and considerate.
Right.
I can't say that. I mean, he left football because of his legs and his knees, not because of injuries to his head. So,
right.
Well, I mean, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's a leap. It's a leap to think that was the reason that he was the way he was.
Yeah, I was curious if they ever did a brain autopsy on him to see if
that's a good question. I do not know that.
No, I think the family would have had to ask for that, and since there was no public announcement of anything like that, I doubt it ever took place.
All right, thanks, Bob. I know you got people coming waiting on you.
Hey, real quick.
Good weekend.
And real quick here, have to answer your question from Google. O.J. Simpson said he did fear he had CTE, but they never looked at his brain. His brain was not autopsied by the chronic traumatic CTE center.
Is that after he allegedly killed his wife, or is that before he allegedly killed his wife?
Allegedly, yeah.
Okay, and it should be ex-wife, not wife.
Allegedly, yes. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Very colorful, as always. A couple of comments coming in here. Appreciate it, guys. Continue to fire them in. Jets Worldwide. Bob, I just ordered your book. Boom. Another one on the table.
Well, thank you. 11,973 to go.
People in the back, can you mark that? All right. Thank you. Okay, they have now marked that. Absolutely love it. NC Green says, I love a blitzing team. It'll be a nice change from the vanilla solid defense. There have been at least 3 or 4 players now, Bob, at these media press conferences and shout out to the media for asking this question. It's been good. What do you like most, insert player, about the new defense with Steve Wilks? Sauce Gardner's like, oh, man, I get to blitz. Jamin Sherwood, I get to blitz. But Steve Wilks, when he's at the press conference, hey, coach, you're going to blitz a lot? I wouldn't say that. And he's all buttoned up.
I like Steve Wilks saying that because I think he would agree with me. I would have loved to have not said anything in training camp or preseason about blitzing, and then opening the season first game.
Boom, go blitzkrieg, sure.
Being able to nail that certain quarterback on the Pittsburgh Steelers a couple of times.
Hey, there's still time to do that. Shout out to T-Town Jet here. He just gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. An important one, T-Town Jet, because you just earned yourself a raffle ticket for a Jets Cowboys giveaway. So you've gifted up enough memberships throughout the month where this one was the one that pushed it over the top. Shout out to John Zipopoli, who got a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. So appreciate that. Very nice. And there is a movement happening in the comment section, Bob. J-Boy says, Bob to the Jets-Cowboys game. What are the chances of you being there at MetLife Stadium week 5, Sunday, October 5th?
Somebody would have to pay for an airplane ticket. I got a place to stay.
Oh, okay. That's half the battle.
Work.
Okay.
And then I'd have to find a way to get a ticket, which I'm not really in a position to be buying at this point. But it would actually be great to hang out with all the Boy Green faithful.
There'd be 50 plus of them. So,
but the other thing is, if anybody is really going to do that, someone's also got to get me a Jets cap, because the one I have is about 25 years old, and I am fully committed. I am not going to give our owner, one dime of my money, because I don't think he deserves it. But anyway, we can dream.
So you're saying there's a chance, Bob, that you'd come to this?
Well, I'm not quite Dumb and Dumber, but I'm getting there.
All right, we'll see what happens there. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We have over 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Appreciate you guys. So many callers waiting here. Badshaw's up next. What's up, Badshaw?
Hey, fellas. How are y'all doing today?
Hey, swell. Good to see you, pal.
Welcome to the party.
A lot better than yesterday, that's for sure.
Oh, gosh. Man, I was pretty close to going to Joe Namath's house yesterday and killing him. I was like, when I first got the news that Justin Fields was down, I was like, it's a curse. It's a curse. I'm just going to have to kill this guy. Like, I love him, but I've got to make that sacrifice. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
You're a real fan. You're a real fan. You're a real
That's
fan.
it. You're a real fan, man.
I know. But anyway, Bob, I wanted to tell you, I sent in a super chat the last time you were on. I really appreciated in that book how you talked about the flea flicker during the Colts Super Bowl.
Yep.
And I just, growing up, the only thing I really had to watch of the Jets Super Bowl, they released a DVD that had the first 50. You have that?
That's the same DVD, the history of the first 50 seasons. I have it on DVD.
Narrated by Merle Harmon.
Yeah, and they got the full game on it, the full game, and I believe the commercials too. The full game on the DVD. Yeah.
Yes. Well, there was a part where they just kind of hinted like that was what decided the game, and that always bugged me because you want to get like a clear victory. And I went back and watched the actual game. I hadn't watched the full game in a long time, and it completely changed my perspective on it, and also the book, just how you touched up on it. I think a lot of people, I think they, kind of thought maybe that's what decided the game, and that's just not the case.
Well, it was the last play of the first half, and if Baltimore had scored a touchdown, it would have been 7-7 at halftime, and Baltimore clearly would have had momentum. But when you look at the last play of the first half, the interception by Hudson, and the first play from scrimmage in the second half after the kickoff, where Tom Matte fumbles and the Jets recover deep in Baltimore territory, those were really two big plays in the game that helped decide it. Because, as I mentioned last week, when the Jets ran to the locker room during the end of the first half, Buddy Ryan got up and was yelling at everybody, what the heck happened there? We had practiced against, that play over and over and over again. And, how come, Randy, you bit on the fake? And, where was the help in the secondary to stop Jimmy Orr? So, sometimes there's a quote at the end of the book. You have my book in front of you, Paul?
Yes, I do.
I do. And the quote from Billy Joe, because there are a lot of people who say the Jets got lucky.
Yes, I have it right here. Would you like me to read it?
Well, go ahead. Before you read it, the long-time NCAA black college coach, second in victories, only to the coach at Grambling. And he just knew everything about football. He was a big offensive guy, but he knew everything about football. Read about the luck the Jets had that day.
And here it is. So Billy Joe, who's a Super Bowl III Jets running back and coaching Hall of Famer, he had this quote to say on the back of the book, again, Beyond Broadway Joe, the Super Bowl team that changed football. And here is that quote. Quote, "To those who think it," referencing Super Bowl III, "was lucky, I've seen enough to understand that there's no luck in football. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation." End quote.
Yeah. And as I said, Buddy Ryan said, we practiced against it. We were ready for it. But they just didn't have, a couple of players didn't have the top of mind at that particular moment. And it almost blew up in their face. But no, that was not the reason. Let me give you one more suggestion. Watch that game again, but open up my book to the play-by-play that I actually created from that game. Because it wasn't simply, most summaries of game that you will see will say, Matty runs up the middle for 3 yards. Okay? Well, I not only tell you that, but I tell you who made the tackle, who may have missed a tackle, and that sort of thing. And on the flea flicker play, I saw on the official NFL video that was provided after the game to the Colts and to the Jets. And there is a distinctiveness and a real focus on the ball and everything else. You get a much clearer look at what happened. And on that play, Carl McAdams, who was playing tackle at that point in the game for Paul Rochester, reaches out and gets his hand on Tom Matte on one of his legs and almost took him down. And that would have completely blown up that play.
Yeah.
And then the next time I spoke to Carl McAdams after I saw that, I said, Carl, do you remember that? And he didn't remember it at all. I said, well, I'm telling you, you almost single-handedly blew up that play. Just if you had held on just a fraction of a second longer, Matte would have lost his balance. And the Jets probably would have got him behind the line of scrimmage. So, strange things happen on every single play.
That's true. That's true. And I really appreciate the book. I you don't see a lot of stuff about it, breaking it down. So, and I think I'm definitely not the only person that really enjoyed the book. I'm glad Paul put it out there for us, and got you on the show, because I probably would have never heard about it, And
well, I didn't do as good a job as I should have back in 2018, to really play it up. And my wife keeps reminding me of that.
Well, here's the good news, Bob. It's not too late. There's all these surge of audiobook purchases, physical book purchases, hardcover, paperback.
And as I've mentioned to Paul here on the show a couple of weeks ago, historians have told me that this is going to be something that people are going to be looking at and reading 50 years from now, because it's going to be the only real authoritative piece on that game itself.
Yes, and by the way, Badshaw, before you go, I see we have a thing here from HEP, right? Because people were trying to see if we could get Bob to the game. Here's the only things we need: a Jets cap, a plane ticket, and a stadium ticket. Boom! If we just get all those, Bob's there. That's the math. Okay.
Oh, we'll need some kosher food for the barbecue.
Hey, we have that covered. Chef Kevin Gilbert is catering the event. He's a professional chef and Jets fan. He will be at the event catering all 50 plus of us.
Okay.
Paul, do you remember the last time I bought somebody a Jets hat?
That did not go well. Actually, Bob, that we may need to avoid that completely, because then all kinds of crazy things could happen on the show. Actually, that's a very good point. You know what? Scratch that. If Bob comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It is what it is. Yeah.
No, I will definitely.
You're so giving. You give and you take.
Yeah, that's it. It is that sort of relationship. That's for sure.
Yeah, and for sure. I'm down though, Bob. I will try to get you to come if you can and whatnot. We'd love to have you there and whatnot. Now, I don't want you eating my food or nothing.
That's true. Yeah, you
it's not going to be. I'm sure your food isn't going to be kosher, so I won't be. So don't worry about that.
Yeah. We'll check in on that. Badshaw, thanks for the call, brother.
Hey, thanks for the call. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
There he is, Badshaw, joining us here on the show. A couple of comments flying in here. We appreciate it. Guys, keep those coming. Big Country 87 sending in a YouTube super chat of the Golden Brick Yellow variety. We love to see it.
Wow.
Morning, BG. Here's my other $10 super chat. Now, Big Country 87 is officially in the raffle that you could see down in the YouTube description down below and also on the scrolling ticker. I will be at the game already. Heal up fast, Justin Fields, and God bless your son. I appreciate that. Thank you kindly. And hey, Big Country 87, if you win this, you can choose to give them out to friends, these 2 tickets and everything that comes with the raffle, or perhaps you can tell me who to donate it to. Maybe Bob could be one of the ones that receives one of these tickets. Perhaps we'll keep you posted. Thank you, Big Country 87, for that. Up next, he's been waiting patiently, Johnny Boy here on the show. What's up, Johnny?
BG, good morning.
Johnny,
Bob,
welcome to the club.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Exciting news, right? Yesterday had us all on our toes.
Oh my God!
Right?
Yes.
How many steps had you taken off the ledge before the word came out he was okay?
It wasn't the fact that he got, like, we didn't know what it really was for me. It was more of like same old Jets type of thing to me. Like, it was more of like, wow, like, is this really happening to us? Like, how is it that this occurs and only to us? And it goes back to what AG said. We're built for this shit. Because
after like a couple of hours later, because I was really busy yesterday morning, I turned on Jake Asman to watch a replay of his show while I was having lunch. Mm-hmm. And man, he was losing it.
Understandable.
But I was informed by my son, who called me, like, I don't know, I think it must have been about 9:30 here in Chicago, and said, "Did you hear what just happened at Jets camp?" And he told me. And we didn't know what the injury was. And my first thought was, oh my God, we are so snake bit.
Yeah.
How many times is this going to happen? And as I said, beginning of the show today, I just hope the Jets take their time. There's no rush to bring him. Even if he misses the first game or the second game, you want him to be as healthy as he possibly can be, and not favoring that foot, and not having any reason to not be in almost perfect shape, and he's young enough to recover.
Yeah, he's 26.
Like this. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, Johnny, before you go on. So I had forgotten this until Judy Batista of the NFL Network pointed this out. So she's on a show last night. They do this NFL Plus show. It's called The Insiders, and they're talking about the Justin Fields thing. And Judy says, in the middle of all this Justin Fields craziness, but then we know now like what the injury was last night when she was talking about it. She said, can you believe at the end of Aaron Glenn's first training camp practice, he said he understands the pain of Jet fans and don't worry about it. We're in new times. And then 16 hours later, Justin Fields goes down, and then he is asked the question again. So at the second press conference, right, Justin Fields goes down, they say it's a toe, and we're working on it. They turned to him and said, you talked about the pain of Jet fans, and that a lot of them went, oh, Jesus, here we go again. And he said, and they asked him, how do you change that? I don't have that clip available to show you guys, but he just sort of said, it's a mentality. And, basically wins are going to shift people over. And I'm going to prove it to you that, like, you don't have to think that way anymore. It's not going to be same old Jets. We're going to change the narrative, but it's not going to be my talk that's going to do it. It's going to be the actions, basically.
And that's a soft talk version of what Parcells would have said.
Right. Sure. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what I love about the guy, because he is a Parcells disciple and he makes no bones about it.
Yeah.
100%. I'm not going to front. I was watching the presser with him, and when he came out, he's like, I'm just going to get into it. And he was like, we have Tyrod, and I was like, oh my goodness, this dude is about to say it's an Achilles. He's gonna tell us we're feared that it's an Achilles. And he's like, I don't know what's really going on. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Well, even if it had been an Achilles, and if he knew it, he would have given you the Tyrod situation, and he would have admitted we're going to go get another, guy who can step in.
Well, he gave two things here, Bob. So at the beginning of the press conference, he messed up, right? So he comes up and everyone's on the edge of their seat. Oh my God, Justin Fields, we need an update. He's like, all right, let me get right to it. And we're all like, okay. He's like, Tyrod went down with this. And we go, Tyrod? What the hell? He went down too? I'm like, what? And I'm in a mall. I'm listening. I see the da-na-na, da-na-na. Aaron Glenn is speaking. You can live stream it to your phone. And I put the phone up to my ear with my family. So we're walking through a mall. And he says Tyrod. And I'm like, what the bleep did I miss? How did he go down too? And then the PR guy's like, Coach, it was Justin. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. Justin. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then he said it was the toe, and I just felt a lot better. I didn't know what was wrong with the toe at the time, but I just felt better about a toe as opposed to a calf, an ankle, a knee, all kinds of crazy shit has happened to Jet fans with that. So that was a relief just to hear it was toe. But to Bob's point, and Bob has been painting it very nicely here, that we shouldn't just, oh, thank God, it's just a toe. Like a toe still for a quarterback is important. So they just have to make sure they're doing their proper protocol.
If it was an offensive lineman, it probably wouldn't be as important at all. But anyway, especially in an interior offensive lineman. Did you see the tweet somebody put up there about the bat signal?
Oh, to Kirk Cousins. Yes, yeah. I received that text. As a matter of fact, my buddy Brian Drake, who's in our business, he's a fantasy footballer on Sirius XM, and he does a lot of stuff. I got it. Let me tell you, people out in the universe, whoever has my phone number, please stop. Okay. I was at a doctor's office yesterday, and my phone's going ba-ding, 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 ba-ding. I'm like, what in God's green earth is going on out there?
Does the doctor know who you are?
She does not. No, she should. Obviously, I could have given her an autograph or something, or taken a picture with her. So, her loss. But the texts that I received were not about checking in on my son. They were checking in on, hey, did you hear about Justin Fields? And then people giving me that bat signal tweet of Kirk Cousins. I'm like, people, wait just a second. Let's stop jumping to conclusions here. And oh my God, I got all those texts about Kirk Cousins. So I'm like, and really what I wanted to say politely is fuck you people. Okay. The body's not even cold yet. And I'm getting Kirk Cousins.
And besides, Kirk Cousins would just hold the Jets up for ransom and then want to go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Only one, shame on you.
So with the toe stuff, right? And it's not the big toe.
No.
It's, I guess, the middle one.
No, not even the middle. It's a second toe from the right, apparently. So whatever that one's called, which apparently Bob has determined is called the second toe from the right.
I think it's the long one next to your big toe.
Correct. Gotcha. Yeah, not the middle third one. It's a second one from the left. But also it is on the push-off foot, not the plant foot. That's also what we know.
Which is good. So with that being said itself, right, they're probably just going to give him a tee shot and wrap his toes next to another toe. And that Bob, I think for myself, I think this kid is going to. He's probably. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the field today, because he wants it that bad.
Wow.
And if we were to see that, right, as a fan base, we're gonna be like, okay, because there's a lot of people that are on the fence about Justin Fields, but our biggest thing is, right, we had Klecko, because Easy talks about it all the time, who played, I think it was Klecko, whoever he always talks about, that was playing with a broken leg.
That's correct. It was Joe Klecko.
Yeah, and
right?
Jerry Philbin played with a broken shoulder.
So and especially if we want that grit.
Hey, wait a second. We've got breaking news for you, Johnny. We got breaking news. Hang on just a second. Let me make sure I get our proper thing here. In from Connor Long here, who's at Jets training camp reporting live. Justin Fields is on the field throwing for the Jets. Here it is from Connor Long. We're throwing this up on the screen here. Despite a dislocated toe, Justin Fields is out on the field throwing for the Jets.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that the kid, the guy, he wants it, right? And you got to respect that. Those reps are very important, especially depending upon what is going to happen this year itself. So and the last thing, and I'll get off because I know you got other people, BG and Bob, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the JJ tweet. And I wanted to ask you guys this, because you guys, especially you, Bob, that's been around for such a long time within this team itself.
Thank you for reminding me how old I am.
No, it's a lot of respect. When you brought up the Cosmos and everything like that, I have my father, again, we could talk about that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of players that I remember. I mean, Giorgio
Quinaglia.
Yep. I mean, Pele, Anthony Torres, that was there. Who's the
Carlos Alberto, Franz Beckenbauer.
Exactly.
Stevie Hunt was my favorite.
But anyways, I wanted to ask this. At what point does AG make the decision to save the player from himself? And what I mean by that, yes, it's cool that JJ is getting cleared by the doctor and all that, but BG's always said there's a giant difference between being football ready and then just being regular ready. Is that something that comes into play? And is that something that we want Aaron Glenn to potentially say, look, I want to protect the player from himself because I do not want him to get hurt? If there's a push, because I guess on the second half, the schedule opens up a lot more for us, for him to be truly ready during there when you're starting to get a lot more injuries on other teams. So I asked that to you guys. What's your thoughts on that? Love the content. Bob, hey, hopefully they can get you onto that game, which would be awesome. Maybe not a Jets one like Bradshaw was saying, for maybe a Boy Green cap, right? Why not from the merch store? So
support. There we go.
Johnny, do me a favor. Number one, buy the book in whatever form you can get it. But number two, he's not going to rush JJ back.
Good.
Remember, I mean, I'm a big Knicks fan, and even after they were eliminated, I was watching Indiana play. And what's his name? The guard who got hurt, and who everybody predicted if he's not careful, he's going to tear his Achilles. Well, it was the last game before Indiana would be eliminated, and most people said he's going to play because he may never get a chance again to win a championship. Well, that's not the Jets this season. And I think he's going to protect JJ, and he wants JJ to be a great player, and particularly because he's a defensive guy. And Glenn understands the importance of pass rush and getting it from both sides of the line. So he isn't going to rush him at all. I don't have any doubt that Glenn is going to protect him. And in fact, I think JJ, will be looking at it the same way. And as much and as hard as he wants to get on the field and make a contribution and earn that big contract, he can earn a big contract by having 8 or 9 great games instead of playing in 17 and maybe being mediocre a lot of the time.
That's a fair point. By the way, J-Boy has just come in. This story continues to develop. BGM all in on helping Bob make week 5. So we will all speak after the show. I will get back to you, Bob, and I will keep you updated. It sounds like J-Boy is willing to help sponsor you.
This is starting to become a crescendo. I don't know.
Yep, it's really developing. Speaking of developing, Bob, this is unbelievable. Here is Justin Fields running onto the Jets training camp practice field. Here we go. Here it is, Justin Fields running over to fans. He is there today, Bob. Unbelievable. He's signing some autographs for fans. He's dapping up some fans, running out there. I can't believe it. We talked about it with the injury yesterday, with the dislocated toe. There's no fracture.
Fields fan in the world right here, y'all.
Okay, the number one Justin Fields fan.
Chicago, Pittsburgh, and out here. So.
Wow, there you go. Cool shout out there.
What did he say there about Chicago?
Yeah, so he said that kid is the number. He knew this kid was coming to training camp. He might have hooked him up with tickets or something. And he said this kid, whoever that kid was, has followed him from Chicago to Pittsburgh to the Jets. He said it's a number one Justin Fields fan and has followed him around. So,
by the way, I mentioned to you last week, and I don't know, we may hear from him, but I had lunch last week with a guy, business lunch. And at the end of it, I told him about the Boy Green show every Friday that I'm on.
Oh, cool.
He said, you're a Jets fan. And I said, yeah. He said, boy, I love your team. I said, but you said you're from Ohio. He says, yeah, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. And you got a great coach. Aaron Glenn is going to be a great head coach. And he said, I can't tell you how great that quarterback Fields is going to be. And I went, what? I mean, we were walking and I stopped him. I said, you think Fields is going to be a great quarterback? He said, Bob, I saw him at Ohio State. The guy can do everything. He just needs to be in the right system and have the right opportunity. And I said, you have got to come on the show and you've got to really preach to us because you're not looking at a believer. And he laughed and said, I may do that. So,
okay. So I've not seen him yet, but if I do, I'll let you know. The phone lines are open. That is the pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25.
He really believes, first of all, Glenn's coaching ability.
Yeah.
He said he didn't get enough credit. He said, you can't believe how decimated their defense was. And I said, I remember all the injuries. And he said, and he still put together a pretty darn good defense, even with scrubs. And he said, Fields, just give Fields a chance. I said, okay. Yeah. I said, but you're going to have to convince me. Anyway.
Well, he's convinced a lot of people with William chiming in and saying bionic toe in reference to Justin Fields already practicing. And here it is from Ant Jets 82. Carted off to practicing in 24 hours is so Jets. So there you go. Justin Fields back on the practice field immediately for the New York Jets. We'll hear from Aaron Glenn following that practice. We go back to the phone lines and Indy Jets is here.
Oh, there he is. I've been waiting for you, Indy.
Okay.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. I can't believe, Bob, that you said that Fields could be out. He could miss 1, 2, even 3 regular. That's 8 weeks of a dislocated toe. And I remember watching. I remember another dislocation that they showed right on live TV. You remember when Kobe dislocated his finger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what did he do? He was right back out there.
Well, that's what great players. I mean, I saw Jordan here for all those years, and Jordan wouldn't he won his last game, I think, winning a championship for them, and he had 103 or 104 fever. So, I mean,
right. and so, it's not like it's a broken toe, and they put it, they shoot it up with a cortisone shot, a couple times a week. He's not going to feel it.
Well, and you misunderstood what I said, or you just misstated what I said. I didn't say he's going to miss the first 2
No, you said he could.
I said he could to protect him, and protect their investment. And it's a $30 million still an investment in a guy that is, their quarterback for this year, and that probably they're hoping is going to show them enough that they don't have to draft a quarterback next year.
Yeah, and I'm with that. I didn't catch who that guy was that you said was a huge Detroit fan, a big Justin Fields fan.
He hasn't shown up yet, but he's he's a guy here I know here in Skokie, and he just and I said, you know what, you come in and convince me, and then me and this guy Indy, who shows up every week on the Boy Green podcast, we'll shake hands and we'll agree that we agree.
So, so I'm from Northern Indiana originally. I'm down in Carolinas now, but I'm a big Michigan fan. And I can remember, I mean, it's still painful. I can, watching Justin Fields just destroy Michigan that year. And Michigan had one of the best defenses in college. They had Quiddy Payne and was it my brain's not working right now, but
Liatu. Who else are you talking about?
On the Michigan defense.
Yeah, they've had Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant.
No, back in 19 when Fields just destroyed us. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I watched him play against some top college defenses, and that year he threw for 41 touchdowns. So he has the capabilities of it.
Well, look at the wide receivers he had at Ohio State too, who both became first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
Well, Garrett only had 400 some yards that year. He was a true freshman. He had Olave, but he had a running game. The running game was what, even Olave didn't have a great season. He had Olave and he had Wilson, but he had the great running back behind him, which is what got, he had a running back that got 2,000 yards in college, and Fields still threw for 41 touchdowns. I mean, those two numbers usually don't correlate. When you have a running back that rushes for 2,000 yards, your quarterback's not normally throwing 41 touchdowns.
So I don't want to let the air out of your bubble, Indy, but he's playing against guys. He's not playing against the professionals. And as good as Michigan's defense might have been that year, there was still a lot of holes to pick through. And again, you look at the receivers that he had, and even the tight end, that he had. He had a lot there to work with. I'm not taking anything away from him. He was obviously a great collegiate. That was a great graduating class of quarterbacks, or so it seemed to be.
Well, my point is that he went against some NFL talent in the Michigan game. I think they had five players from that defense go to the NFL. Okay, there's still 6 other players that were not NFL caliber. But my point is that when he has the talent around him, he can do it. And I'm a big Fields guy, even though I hate everything that exists at Ohio State. But on a different topic, we're talking about Vera-Tucker and Josh and Simpson, right?
Yeah. Yes. We didn't bring up Simpson today, but yes, he is another one of the big free agents. Yeah.
I'm curious to know what the starting 5 offense, the total for like in the NFL. What is the starting 5 offensive line? What is an NFL team paying? As a total.
The average team is paying their full 5 starters,
right? Because we've got 2 tackles that are on rookie contracts that aren't going to be getting a big contract for the next
many
3 years,
which opens up an opportunity. Yeah,
and same thing with the center. Our center's not going. Tippmann.
Well, he is set to get paid next year. So Joe Tippmann actually right around the corner for non-first round picks. They only have 4-year contracts, so he's going to be going into his contract year next year.
Yeah, next year, and so that's another year. So even if you were to pay Vera-Tucker and Simpson, you give Simpson a 3-year deal, a 3-year deal, and an AVT another 2 or 3 years. By that time, then your tackles. Now you're going to have to start. Now your tackle money's going to have to start kicking in. That's when they'll walk, and you draft a couple more guards for replacement, and. So I don't have a problem with paying AVT if he can stay healthy. That's the problem. Is it's not about paying him; it's can he make it through an entire season staying healthy? And because I don't think AVT is worth 20 plus million. Do you?
I don't think AVT is worth what?
20 million.
20 million.
Well, here's the thing. Here's where we get into choppy waters. So, right, Bob said earlier that the Jets have this tactical advantage over AVT because he's had all these injuries. I actually look at it a different way. I think AVT, if that's true, right, and the Jets say, hey, buddy, your line's here. And he's like, fuck you. I'll wait it out, and next year someone's going to pay me in free agency way more money. I don't have to settle for this now. Why would I settle? So it would make sense for the Jets for their position if they could get him under contract for a low number. But if I'm AVT, I've played tackle at the NFL level. There's a lot more money to be made at tackle than guard. Maybe an NFL team, I'm making this up, whoever it is, it doesn't matter who the team is. They see him in free agency and go, I know he's been playing guard for the Jets most recently. We'll pay him to be our starting left tackle. Boom. And then AVT gets the money he's looking for. 26-year-old offensive linemen get overpaid all the time in free agency because a lot of them don't make it to free agency, especially ones that have positional flexibility. They've played every position besides center. I think it's going to be hard, quite frankly, to I know what Aaron Glenn said. Maybe he's going to surprise me. If I'm AVT, unless the Jets overpay me to no end, why would I sign now? That makes no sense to me.
Well, he's only going to get a short-term deal anyway. You're talking about probably 3 years tops.
Maybe. I don't know if it would well, maybe for him, he would prefer it so he could get another whack of the apple before 30, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think a 3-year deal would probably be about a max deal for him here in New York. I don't think they would give him, a big 4+ year.
No, because they're in a position now because of the youth of the other, players on the line. They can afford to pay him, the one guy on the line who's going to make some significant bucks.
That's correct. And everything that what Andy just said about Membu and Fashanu, you do have a window here if you want to exercise it. We'll see if the Jets choose to invest a resource like that. There's totally a window to pay ABT and John Simpson, and then eventually Tippmann behind that. But then business decisions will come later. You'll have to pay the piper eventually for investing that much in there. But you do have the opportunity to do it now if they want to. And it sounds like AG of his own accord sort of said that was on his itinerary.
Right. And on another note, BG, tomorrow morning, you know how Scotty and I go back and forth on betting.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so we've got another bet that we've worked out, and it's a Clemens bet. So you'll love it. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay, all right. With Hop on Pop, I'm looking forward to that.
We'll talk on it. Yeah, it's and everybody, I think I'm like one of.
He's going to make the squad or not make the squad?
No, their bet is much more. Well, I don't know. They will tell us.
We already know. Clemens is going to make the squad.
How many penalties he's going to commit while they've already caught the quarterback?
Well, hopefully AG has cleaned that up. I think is the big thing, or will not just like Presto.
It sure sounds like it sounded so Parcells-like, but it's for him to talk about the kind of physical specimen that Michael Clemens is, which we all remember when he was drafted. Everyone went, "Oh my God, look at that guy!" And it's really something that's got to be ingrained here, and it's something that can be learned, and you can drill it into the guy. And I personally think that he may not make improvement leaps and bounds, but I think he's going to be an improved player, and that would mean not taking stupid penalties.
That would be nice. Let's get one more phone call in before we wrap up the show. And guys, you can continue to hear me because I'll be on Jake Asman's show coming up at 9:00 here on the program. But let's get to Snowball to finish this up of Jets World Wide. Here on the program. What's up, Snowball?
Good morning. Listen, Paul, great news about your son. Just wanted to call in. Just having kids, I understand. Every good news is good news. So
there he is.
God bless
him.
Guy. Bob, I just bought your book today.
Nice.
I've been overseas for
a
couple of weeks.
That's true.
So,
yeah, right.
So I had the chance to use U.S. currency and actually purchase the book. In relation to Justin Fields, listen, I know we say this every year, right? That, this is our year or whatever. And a lot of people are holding back. But this is a good sign. It has to be good karma that, the kid got his foot stepped on yesterday and he's back on the field today.
This is different, Snowball. This is different. We don't get these devastating news and then a quarterback comes running on the field the next day. This is a different vibe, different energy.
I have to admit that, like when you hear that type of news and being Jets fans, as long as we have been Jets fans,
yes,
you kind of, it's sad to say, but you kind of get used to bad news. So it becomes almost like white noise, and you just become like, you know what, another misfortune for our team. So, flying off the handle doesn't help anybody. It doesn't do anything. It's just, you got to keep calm. I like AG's demeanor. I really like that he is a solid coach and that he just rights the ship immediately and just says, we're moving on. That's it. So unlike the previous regime, I appreciate his straightforwardness and his candidness with everybody. And that's about it. In relation to ABT,
yeah,
I have never been the biggest ABT fan. I'm a Jets fan, but I've never been the biggest ABT fan. I think durability is a big thing, and I blame our team on that a lot because switching him around from position to position. A lot of people say that doesn't take a toll on a football player on the offensive line because it's just they're on the line. But so many different responsibilities for the offensive linemen at different positions. So switching around all that jazz, it's got to take its toll physically on you, mentally, and so on and so forth. So they say that they're freak injuries, but I'm not the first to agree with that. So I don't know.
Well, listen,
Bob, you look like you have something to say.
First of all, thank you for buying my book. And
you're welcome.
Secondly, injuries, particularly with offensive linemen, are hit or miss. Because they're getting hit on every single play.
Right.
And it doesn't take much to get a foot, a leg in an awkward position and have one of your own people hit you, much less the opposition. So, I think what happened to him in Denver was just happened. It's part of the game. It's how violent the game is. And I could make comparisons with the old days in the 60s where these guys played with these awesome injuries and that sort of thing, but they weren't playing against the land of the giants. They were playing against pretty normal sized people who weighed about as much as they did. And now these offensive linemen are all 300 pounds, or you're going to get pancaked.
Well, everything is kind of
that kind of weight. You put that kind of weight against anybody, and you hit him in the leg, or you hit him in the thigh, or you hit him, across the body, or whatever, or hit him in the arm. They're only human. The phrase "bend but don't break" does not apply to football.
True, but they have grown in size as well. So the sides being
they have,
equal.
but still, when something that heavy, hits you. And they've got they got a running start in some cases. I think the guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't sign before the season starts, and we'll see how it goes. He's going to get his money, whether it's this year or next year.
Oh, there's no doubt from somebody. I think. By the way, real quick, Snowball, is that Jets Worldwide merch you're wearing there on your head? Where can we get that?
At Jets Worldwide. Printify.me. So jetsworldwide.printify.me. It's a mouthful, but
sure.
Yeah. If he stays healthy this season.
Well,
if he stays healthy, he will get paid. He's taken listen, there's risk involved this year. So
hey, Snowball, when you get the book and you start to read it, do me a favor and just shoot me an email or something that tells me what you like and that sort of thing.
I'm a teacher. I had a student with the last name Lederer. Are you located in New York?
I'm actually in Chicago, but I grew up in Flushing.
Oh, okay. So I had a student years ago, Lederer.
Could be a long lost son.
Where do you teach in New York?
I teach in Roslyn.
Oh, okay. Well, right down the street from where I was living. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mag Mile.
Maybe there's a family reunion to be had at the Week 5 Jets Cowboys game between this kid that Snowball taught and Bob Lederer.
Well, he's got to be in his 30s now. So, listen, can I do a quick plug before I go?
Please, absolutely. Go ahead.
So tonight, Jets Worldwide, 7:30 p.m. I'm on with Johnny Boy. We are going to have Lamont Burns back on. He's a former offensive lineman for the New York Jets. We'll be talking about training camp. We'll be talking about the Justin Fields situation, the JJ situation, everything that we can bring up. We're probably going to talk about the so-called competition between Myers and Tippmann. So he's got a lot of good takes. He blocked for Curtis Martin. He played with Aaron Glenn. He was coached by Bill Parcells. So we'll have him on tonight. So hopefully everyone, check us out tonight.
Good luck with that.
Bob, it was a pleasure meeting you.
And right back at you.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
Have a good
Thanks,
weekend.
Snowball. We'll get one more call in. We have to. Man with the Jets tattoos back, baby, in a beautiful backdrop. Wow. What's going on?
Hey, just sitting out in the yard. Nice weather finally.
Where are you?
Listen, hey, how you doing, Bob?
I'm fine. Where are you located?
I'm in Virginia.
Oh, I think you're getting a heavy amount of heat the next couple of days. We just went from
Boy,
we had
we have been
100
getting it. It has been as hot here as it's been in Florida.
Yeah,
And we finally got a little bit of a break, but it's coming back.
The last 2 days, it's been 100 to 110 real feel.
Wow. Anyway, let me get to my point here. I think the Jets should extend John Simpson right now.
I agree.
And I think they should wait and see what happens with AVT during the season. John Simpson he's one of these guys that I don't think you're going to be able to replace him easily. Everybody's kind of overlooking him and talking about AVT, but I think you can get John Simpson for a reasonable contract.
Yes, and I would say this, man, with Jets tattoo, is that it would be a critical mistake if the Jets enter next offseason. So we fast forward not a year because that'll be too deep, but like to February of next year. And both John Simpson and AVT are still scheduled to be free agents. If they have not inked up one of them, I think that would be a mistake because all of a sudden your leverage is lost and now we're losing business. I agree. I think John Simpson, unlike AVT is this young buck. He wants free agency, he wants all the money, and I'm sure John Simpson does too in a different way, but he's got his wife here. She just got a residency in the medical field. John Simpson has found his calling here. I think if the Jets approach John Simpson, I think something could clearly be worked out. And then, to your point, let's wait and see what happens with AVT this season. And if you want, at that point, you can franchise tag him. If you have two, quote-unquote, starting offensive linemen set to hit the open market, you're going to have to make a business decision. And, I'd rather them set themselves up in a better position.
Right, I agree. And John Simpson has an incentive to stay here. Like you said, with his wife and his family here. I just think it's a smart thing to do right now. And another thing, getting the quarterbacks, I do want to say one thing. I don't think anybody should sleep on Adrian Martinez. I have watched that kid in the XFL before it was the UFL. This kid has got some talent. He can run, he can throw the ball, and I think he's probably at least could be the future number 2 quarterback here.
Ooh, well, he's got the age for it. He's very young, so obviously he could still sort of bring it all together. So it's still possible.
Right. And Bob, I wanted to say,
can I make a comment?
Excuse me,
real quick.
They were talking about the other guy, Snowball, knew another Lederer in New York.
Yes.
Do you have any illegitimate children that you know of?
It's a good question.
My wife is watching today.
Okay, sorry.
We'll address that on the next episode.
Okay.
No.
Anyway, go ahead, Bob.
I can confidently say I don't.
Okay, good.
Okay.
That's the right answer, Bob, in front of your wife.
It is.
With the Jets tattoo. Do you have anything else real quick before we wrap up?
No. Hey, it's a great show. I look forward to Fridays to see Bob. And, us OGs got to stick together.
Can I say one thing about offensive line before we sign off?
Sure, yeah, of course.
I don't think you can put enough emphasis on the importance of trying to hold the 5 guys together on the offensive line.
I agree.
For
Continuity.
multiple years, because you learn so much about the guys playing to your right and to your left and what they can and can't do, and you can be ready intellectually and instantaneously to pick up when you sense that something may be breaking down around you. And it only comes from playing together a lot of games. So Membu is a rookie and he's going to join the group for the first time, but assuming he does well as the season gets on, if these guys stay healthy, I think they're going to get better and better.
I agree. And by the way, the one quick note I'll say, and we'll continue this on the Jake Asman Show, this will continue to be stream live. So this stream will end, but there's another stream already waiting on my channel that will simulcast. Rich Samini said Justin Fields is not participating in quarterback drills, but he looks fine. He's jogging and moving around, and there's no sign of a limp. So apparently whatever they've done with Justin Fields is working great. There's no sense to rush him, obviously, to throw him back in quarterback drills. So that seems to be going very well. We'll keep you posted on all of those updates moving forward because I'm about about to jump over on the Jake Asman Show, which will be simulcast here on the Boy Green YouTube channel. Bob, this was terrific, and man, more and more people buying the book. This is great. This has been a lot of fun having you on every week.
And it's fun to talk about real football.
Finally.
And finally. Oh, and do me a favor.
Sure.
Tell Jake he owes me, because he said he was going to have me on after Phil died, and he had to cancel me for clearly a better guest than me. So anyway.
Well, I'll let the people judge on that, but I'll make sure I put in a note, Bob, to get you on there. Even more, as many people as we could get you in front of to get more eyes, obviously, on the book would be terrific. So I'd love it.
Thank you, everybody out there. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and for those of you who are buying and or reading the book.
Yes.
And anyway, I appreciate that.
Well, it looks like Man with Jets Tattoo wants to have one more quick comment. Go ahead, Man with Jets Tattoo.
I forgot what. Oh, I knew Justin Fields was going to be okay when he limped off the field and they did not call a tow truck.
Thank you for that, Man with Jets Tattoo. Good Lord have
Great
mercy.
insights from all your viewers.
Obviously so. Thanks, everybody, and I'll be jumping on the Jake Asman Show here shortly.